Today we have one of the biggest sales trainers in the world, labeled 2023 best sales trainer in the world, 2024 best sales trainer in the world, has done over 600 sales events and has trained over 2 million people. Daniel G, how are you?
Thank you, man, for having me. I appreciate it. Of course, excited.
Excited?
You said one of, by the way. We're going to start it off with the number one.
The number one.
Yeah, we don't say one of. It's just the number one. I say if somebody says, I take up spots 1 to 10 in the game. Okay, so the number one. Man, dude, I'm super excited to do this. This is fun. We're on a yacht. You guys can see we're in beautiful Miami. There's no better way to do a podcast than here, you know? So this is fun. I'm excited to do it, brother.
Bro, sell me this water bottle.
I mean, why do you need to drink water right now? What do you do, man? What do you do? Like, you have a team?
I'm in real estate.
You're in real estate?
Yeah.
And you have courses online?
Yes.
Nice. I was about to drink this water actually right now just because you gave it to me. You have courses online?
Hey, we do. We have mentorships, sales teams, yeah, everything.
How much you guys sell every single month?
A little over 6 figures a month. Just sometimes around 90,000, 100,000. Yeah.
$100,000?
Yeah.
In your coaching, your programs?
Coaching program, yeah.
How big's your team right now? And that's like Fareed's team, right?
Just our team, yeah, my team, personal
and
team.
how many? Do you guys have a? How
got over 200 students.
Holy shit!
Just
how
big's
your sales
guy.
team? One sales guy.
Yeah.
Nice. And how much is he producing in commissions every single month?
He gets around 8%, so he's around like $8,000 to $9,000 a month.
$8,000 to $9,000. Holy jeez! And what's his targets to get it? Like what's his next step?
We're putting him on a sliding scale to get bonuses, and then he's just going to be selling at events, low ticket offers, mid ticket offers, just more offers for him. But on that one offer for high ticket that we offer, he's getting 8% on.
8%? How many deals is he closing every single day?
He does around like 3 or 4 a week.
3 or 4 a week.
Just averaging one a day.
Almost one a day.
Yeah.
How many calls is he taking every single day?
Around 6 to 7 calls.
6 to 7 calls every single day.
With his show rate, he's doing around 50% close rate.
50% close rate?
Yeah. With the people that show, yeah.
Right, nice, amazing. Now, if we could just get him, to work a little bit longer, maybe for 1 extra day to have a little bit more stamina, he could probably fit in, 1 more meeting per day?
Yes.
So 1 more meeting per day, you said he has a 50% close rate. Every 2 meetings, he's closing 1 extra deal. Let's say the mentorship's $2,500. Just by him being available for 1 more hour in 1 more day, he can close about 15 extra deals a month.
Yeah.
Just for 1 more hour, 1 more day.
Yeah, 1 more hour.
And sometimes there's only like 3 main factors. Either number 1, lack of sleep. He needs a little bit more energy because I got the energy, right?
Yeah.
So there's only 3 factors. Number 1, lack of sleep. Number 2, you stay hydrated. And number 3, his fitness on point.
Yeah.
So would you say it makes sense to invest, would you say, how much were these? $100 a month in the potential returns of you making an extra $25,000 a month just for some simple water to keep him hydrated, to keep him going a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Would something like that make sense, or would it just make sense for him to, kick back and just close his regular 3 to 4 deals a day? Because that's not bad, 3 to 4 deals.
I think he definitely needs water.
Boom! Sold the water.
Damn. That just happened out of nowhere, bro.
You asked me to sell the water.
I thought you just totally sidetracked from the entire conversation and it just came back out of nowhere.
You knew we were still selling the water though, right?
Yeah, nah, you had me at some point. I was so diverged into this sales conversation.
You thought I was gonna sell you sales trading.
Yeah, I was like, why did he just change the subject? And then he came back.
But here's the deal. I could have done that in 2.5 seconds where you said sell me the water. I'd be like, okay, well, what kind of water do you drink right now? Yeah. But you're a business owner, so the number 1 lesson that people can realize from what I just did there is I speak in terms of people's freaking interests. Your interest is to grow your business. Your interest is in water right now, it's to grow your business. So if I speak specifically towards you, which is like in the first sentence of how to win friends and influence people, make people feel like they're the most important person in the world, right? So when I'm looking at you, I'm like, you're a business owner. You want to grow your business. So whatever product you're going to give me, I'm going to speak specifically towards you where you see the ROI for your business. Because I know it's not a health conversation right now, right? Just to make it relatable, exactly. So then I had to show you, I had to build the gap big enough to say, oh shit, maybe if the guy does stay hydrated, simply such thing as water, if you asked me to sell the watch, wherever the case was, sales is both emotional and logical. And as a business owner, you're always going to bring your logic into the sale of ROI, right? Yeah. Of course, getting you emotionally involved, but at the end, I tied it in with an ROI, right? So something for the audience to look at, because anybody can mold and shape what I just did there with any single product, offer, or service, right?
Yeah. So why sales? I mean, what started you and got you into sales in the first place?
So I started I truly started sales, direct sales, at the age of 14. Like, that was my first true sales job. I was working under my brother's social insurance card and his health card. That company no longer exists because it was illegal, obviously, to work at the age of 14.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen, I knew, like, there's a light bulb moment for everybody inside of life. My light bulb moment was at the age of 14. Because when I cash collected my first commission check, think of it, I was a young kid that had ADD, ADHD, English as a second language. It essentially means ESL. I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada, and they put me in an ESL class.
Yeah.
And the two friends sitting, my two friends sitting next to me. Were you born in America?
I was born in America, but my parents spoke Farsi in the house. English was my second language because all they would speak to me was Farsi. So they thought I was like,
yeah.
They're like, throw this guy into ESOL.
I mean, so and you hear my communication's clear.
Oh, of course.
But was shitty at reading and writing.
Right.
So, as a kid, I'm sitting down in a classroom with one of my friends from Jordan, my other friend Alejandro from Colombia, and I'm sitting down there being like, man, maybe I am really counted out, in life. Like, damn, I do suck. I'm not going to get into a good high school because I was in elementary school at this time. I'm going to something called ESL plus Kumon. Kumon is secondary education. So now I'm really counted out, man. You're from Mississauga, so you get it, right? So then I land a sales job when I'm 14. I make $800 my first weekend knocking on doors. And, all I'm thinking about is like, shit, I've been lied to my whole life. Because they say go to school to get a good job, to get good grades. And I'm like, I've already proved everybody wrong because I did the thing that they say go to school for. I made the money thing. That's what they say go to school for, to make the money. I'm like, oh shit, I proved everybody wrong at 14.
Is that when you realized that everything was programmed and everything was a
I didn't
scam?
really think programming. All I think, because you're not thinking that when you're 14, like I'm being programming. I'm just like, something was off inside of my head. Yeah, I'm like, I was lied to. Yeah. Like, I wasn't thinking I'm being programmed. I'm just thinking like, I'm being lied to. And then I said, in order to make sure that I know that this is right, let me go repeat it again next week. Like, let me see if this is shit. Let me see if I'm not being scammed,
Yeah.
So I just went to go repeat it again next week and made another $500 in commissions. And the reason why I go hard today in terms of sales training, I've never left sales since. I left sales for about 4 months. I've been in sales for the last 16 years of my life. Never missed it since I did a bad period of my life, which is called university, for about 4 to 5 months. But I go so hard in sales trading because I say, I think it's the most forgiving profession in the world, number one. Meaning, like, it doesn't give a shit about what you did yesterday. You could be the biggest fuck up in life. You can come in with such a bad track record. You could come out of the penitentiary. You can come out of jail. Doesn't care how you look, what race you are, what gender you are, how you look, how you smell, how you walk, how you talk. I was English as a second language. I was deemed to be the stupid kid inside of life. I was ESL. And sales, the reason why I think it's the best profession, because it says, I don't give a shit who you are. If you can work hard, you can learn the skills, you get paid a shit ton of money. And we've hired everybody inside of our agency. Meaning, like, we've hired people from broken backgrounds, people, that just came out of jail, for selling drugs. When they came out of jail, they didn't have no job. And they came up to me and they're like, dude, nobody will hire me. I'm like, can you work your ass off and are you disciplined? I'm like, the only problem with you is you just had your hustle in the wrong area. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point. You were never taught where to put your hustle in. And a lot of people that fall into a lot of bad things inside of life, they're just putting their hustle in the wrong areas.
So when you hire people, like you said hustle and discipline, are those the qualities that you look for?
Well, I'm looking for 3 things. I think you're always looking for, number one, great energy, of course. But the killer of every great salesperson is you have good energy without discipline. That's the killer of every business owner. Every business owner, they have great energy, or they start in entrepreneurship, they have great energy. But for example, I've never missed a flight. I did 210 flights this year. Wow. I'm the most disciplined person you'll ever meet inside of your life. Yeah. And I'm the craziest person you'll probably see on social media too as well. Yeah. Like, I'm an animal on social media. This guy's crazy. But I don't slip on nothing. I'm super self-disciplined. And I think the killer of every great rep is, like, you see them with good energy, but they slip on the discipline part, right? Yeah. So I think it's energy, discipline, and skills. Of course, it's like the trifecta of every great sales rep, right? So you got energy, discipline, and skills come. Skills sometimes come naturally with building blocks from past sales job, or they're built, right?
Yeah. You say in one of your YouTube videos, you say that every person who wants to be committed to something has to cut something else out of their life.
Correct.
What have you cut out of your life?
So the way I see it is like this. I haven't had major cuts inside of my life because I think everything that somebody says is a sacrifice is probably not a sacrifice. So for example, obviously commitment means that you got to kill something, right? I was committed since day one inside of my business. However, I switched the word sacrifice for more of like just loving yourself and giving a shit about your business. Because think of it, when people are on like social media and they're like, oh, you got to sacrifice, like alcohol to become successful. You heard me say it. It's like you're not sacrificing something that's already bad.
Yeah, you gotta go to the gym every day.
Like how is it a sacrifice? Bro, you can't talk to 17 women a week. Dude, that's not a sacrifice. You're already an idiot. That's a headache. That's called a headache. So when people say to become successful, you got to sacrifice shit, I don't believe in that. Yeah. I believe that it's like, oh, you give a shit about your business now. You're actually going to the gym. You don't got to sacrifice junk food. Junk food is already bad. Giving up something that is already bad is just called a little bit more self-love and giving a shit about your life and your future. The people that deem that as sacrifice just don't give a shit about their future, right? So have I had to sacrifice thing inside of my life? Yes, but I was just saying with a friend, I said that's not sacrifice. Like the bad things aren't sacrifice. The sacrifice is when you're an entrepreneur and you can't attend a family function. That's the true sacrifice. Like that's the real sacrifice as an entrepreneur. When somebody's getting married and you're sitting down there in your office and you're like, I don't think I can fucking make it.
I have shit to do.
Like that's the hard part probably. Or like, you have friends that maybe want to go on vacation and have a good time. That's hard saying no to it. Because you grew up with these friends or these homies and they want to go out for vacation, but you're working on your business. That might be a sacrifice, right? I did that early on inside of my business. Okay. I did that all early on inside of my life.
What did that look like, for example? Like what type of good sacrifices did you have to make?
I think it was for sure 150% family relationship.
Especially because they also live over.
Yeah, they live in Canada. Yeah. Right. So, but even when I was working my business, like I was crazy at working my business. So even when I was in the same city, I think it was probably 99% of the time probably family. Right? Because if that's something as to why you move your business for, right? And there is no balance. So when somebody comes in this shit and they're like, oh, you got to balance life. It's okay, that's great, but what are you shooting for? Because when you shoot for something great, I promise you're in balance. Like Donald Trump, when he's running to become the president, he's not balanced. He did a talk at 1 a.m. the night before he was announced as the president. He was on stage at 2 a.m. The day he was announced as president, he's back on stage at 1:30 a.m. Where it's the balance? How old is Trump? 60 what?
60,
62? 78? Not 62, 78.
78. Really?
He's doing a talk at 2 a.m. My dad's knocked out cold. Our parents are knocked out cold, man. I'm almost sleeping watching the presidents. No. Like, I'm sleeping watching him give his talk when he just got announced to be the president. I'm knocking out, and people are like, did you catch? I'm like, I had one eye open. So when you look at people that do anything great, there's no fucking such thing as balance. There's no, it's just knowing what season you're in. So what I do to my guys, I'm like, this is this season. Not for 4 months. It might be the season for 6 months or 6 days or 1 week. I label everything I do inside of my life. Like, I know when I'm in leverage. I know when I'm in no mode. I know when I'm in fun mode. When I'm in fun mode, you can't get me out of it, right? When I'm in chill mode, I'm in chill mode. But there's seasons inside of your life.
You do everything with purpose.
Whether it's
when you're chilling, having fun.
Correct. Yeah.
Getting work done.
I just believe that there's no balance. When you try to create balance, you're trying to live to society's standards of a 25% lifestyle. It's like 25% family, 25% work, 25% religion, 25% activity. In what scenario? It's impossible if you're shooting for something great,
Are you religious?
I believe in God. Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of things.
There's a lot of things that can't be explained by science. I was just telling Steve this yesterday. There's a lot of things, human consciousness, right? There's a lot of things that cannot be explained by science. So of course, there's a God.
How do you you talk about there's no balance in life, but like genuinely, you talking fast, moving fast, doing events fast, everything's fast-paced lifestyle. When do you have time to really sit down and live in the present? Do you live in the present?
Yeah, I think as every business owner, you're always thinking like what's next. You're always building what's next, and it's what creates your energy today. I don't think if something's not exciting in the future, of course you have low energy today. So if people see high energy from me today, that means I'm always thinking about, the next 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road. When people lack energy, they just lack the dream. When you ever see me say the sales dream, they lack the dream. So you lack energy because you lack the dream inside of the future. So do I live in the present? Yeah, 150%. You can't knock me off right now. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So this is present.
Yeah.
So here's what people don't understand about energy. Energy derives from being fully present. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example. If you're at lunch with your friends and everybody has their phone out, and you'll see the energy at that table just super low.
Yeah.
The moment everybody has their phones away at lunch, everybody's laughing.
Goes back up.
Go back to your family functions 20 years ago. Everybody was fucking jamming out. Everything was fun. Everybody was laughing. The energy was 100x. And now you go and people are like shoulders down on their phone because they're not present. The phones are away. Everybody's present. Everybody's laughing. Energy's high. So yeah, right now you can't knock me off my game. I'm not looking what's happening here. I'm not getting distracted. I'm with you on a podcast. That's why my energy's high, right? So I'm fully present. So I have the ability to lock into my tasks and be fully present 150%.
Yeah.
Even though I'm moving so fast, I guess the answer is we're moving fast, but everything we do, I'm in the present right now. Like I'm working this. If I'm on stage, you can't knock me off my game. I'm present on stage.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to an individual, I'm present with that individual, right? So
do you ever, like, because you're moving so fast, do you ever, sit down and, like, do you ever get highs or moments of, like, dopamine where you're like, oh, shit, I just closed this deal. I just did my 500th event of of my life. Like, do you ever hit those milestones where you sit back and you're like, or is it just constantly like, what's next? I'm moving forward.
Yeah, for me, I guess, it becomes another day in the office is the true response. I think if you put the position on the pedestal is where you lose, right? So, like, I rolled off my momentum after my first event that had 4 people. I'm just like, okay, let's do another one for 6. Let's do another one for 10. I never thought negative. I never thought positive about it. I was just in it working. Like, before I'll go do an event, I'm like, all right, let's go work. Somebody else is going to be like, oh, man, I'm going to speak at this event. I'm like, let's get to work. Let's fucking make people money. Yeah. Like, that's my job. That's my work. I don't put my position on the pedestal. We don't get fancy, is what I tell Steve. We never get fancy.
Stick to what works. There's a blueprint
stick
for
to
everything.
what works. Be with people. Yeah. If I'm at events, I'm with people. Probably the first person there, especially if it's my events. The last person to leave answering people's questions. It's part of work. So that's where my energy comes from. It truly comes from, like, man. I had this joke on my sales school this week. I said, "Do you guys really want to know what's happening through my head?" I said before I do an event, this is really what's happening. I'll go on camera. Steve will be shooting me, and Steve probably has 100 of these clips where I'm like choking the camera. Like, I'm just doing this, and Steve's, like, filming me. And you got other people that are, like, reading their scripts backstage. What are they going to say? They're rehearsing. And I'm choking the camera, and they're announcing my name. This happens every event. I have to put one of these videos on social media.
What do you mean you're
right?
choking? What is that?
Like, this is the camera. I'm like, Steve, we're gonna choke somebody right now, right? And I don't know if it's too violent to put on social media. Because people are like, oh, my God, this guy's violent, right? So here's the intention behind that. I'll tell you the intention. I had this one kid in Italy I trained 5 years ago. He's sitting at an event. There was like 3,000 people. This kid's sitting front stage. He comes up to me after I'm done speaking. Young guy. Now I see him. He's crushing it inside of his business. He was 18 at the time. He came up to me, he's like, in Italian. He said, my head is bleeding from the words that you just hit me with, right? He said it like a saying in Italian. And I laughed and I said, And now I see him 5 years later. He's crushing it. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this story, because I go in there with when he said my head was hurting because what you just hit me with, like the reality of my business.
Yeah.
I said, that's the intention I go in when I go speak. It's like, he said, you hit a bat over my head to wake me up.
Struck a nerve.
Yeah. So I say you get nervous when you go speak in front of people because you're thinking about yourself. When I go speak in front of those people, I'm thinking about making that guy's head bleed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I said, Steve, the people should walk out of this event wobbly like this. You're thinking about your script. I'm thinking about making them wobble after the event. There's a big difference there because one comes from service, the other one comes from ego. Two different things. Yeah. Somebody will pick up on this because you cannot rehearse what's already inside of your blood. That's why a lot of coaches and speakers, they don't last inside of the game because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. If you were to prep me on questions right now, ask me any single sales question you want, any single objection, how to prospect somebody, it's coming out of me in 2.5 seconds. So you can't really prepare for it 60 minutes before, right?
Yeah.
So like practice happens a million times, and then when you're on stage, it's exponential. Meaning it's like you get so good that you can't fuck up, basically. Like it'd be impossible for me to stutter and fuck up on stage. Or like on a podcast, if you ask me a question, I can't stutter. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Most people...
There's an answer to everything.
Well, most
there's
people
only
just work their business till they get good.
Yeah.
I work so hard inside of my business till I can't get it wrong. Yeah. You know? Especially with sales. Because everybody thinks sales is a winged sport. Like, they think that, I'm just going to do good because of my charisma. Okay, great. I have great charisma. But if you put me head-to-head with you on a sales conversation and somebody tells me I don't have the money, I'll handle that objection 5 different ways.
How many objections are there?
How many objections?
There's only like 8 or 9, right?
But they can be said in different formats. Like,
yeah.
Look, if you got a money objection, somebody could say it in different formats. We don't have the budgets. I don't have the money. I'm getting paid next week. It's too expensive. The price is too high. I'm thinking about buying a cheaper product. Why does it cost so much? There's like 10 objections maybe under the money objection, right? There's a lot of them.
What if I said I need to think about it?
Yeah, 150%. I mean, how long do you need to think about it?
A couple days.
A couple days?
Yeah.
And in the couple days, after those 2 days, you're going to make a decision to start or not start?
I should have an answer in 48 hours.
Got it. I mean, Fareed, let's say I'm selling you my sales coaching. You've had a business for the last year, right? And I think you should take time, 48 hours, take even a week to think about something like this. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to change my life, dude. I promise you. I get off a phone call with you, I'm going to sell somebody else on my sales training. I'm a salesperson. You came to me, right?
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you ain't going to make me rich. I didn't call you. You called me. But, hey, let me ask you a question, Fareed. How long have you been thinking about training your salespeople inside of your company? Like, has it been like a few months, a year, 2 years? How long have you been like, shit, I need to get my sales guy better? Has that been on your mind for the last month, 2 months?
It's been on my mind, yeah, for I'd say like a couple months now.
Couple months, so 2 months?
2 months.
Right? And this can go with anything. If I'm selling a health coaching, anything, right? Okay, cool. Let me ask you a question. Forget about me, Daniel G, the sales trainer, Daniel G, the real estate trainer, Daniel G, the health coach. Forget about me. If you started sales training 2 months ago with Jim Bob, fuck Daniel G, with Jim Bob 2 months ago, do you think today you would have had your sales guy a little bit better 2 months down the road? Like, forget about me. Do you think even if you started with, who's another sales trainer you've been thinking about?
I mean,
say a name.
I don't know.
Give me a name. Who's a sales guy in the space?
You're really the only sales guy I know.
Shit, man. Come on, dude. Say you started with another sales guy, right?
Yeah.
Do you think, aside from me, if you picked somebody else 2 months ago, you would at least got your sales guy a little bit better?
I think so, at least a little bit.
So, Free, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Make a decision today. If you don't do business with me, hang up the phone, go call that guy, and don't be in the same freaking position 2 months down the road. Because in indecision, you're not doing nothing at all. So hang up the phone with me and go do business with other guy. Because in the time frame of you thinking about it in the next 2 months, you're just gonna be in the same position, right?
And then you saying that is gonna make me decide between you.
Does it make sense for you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to be in the same position the next 2 months down the road? Heck no. That's why we're on a call right now, right? So you're. I think, listen, a great salesperson, and this is great for anybody watching. You have salespeople watching. A great salesperson makes a prospect think a different thought or idea that they never thought prior to the phone call. So maybe my job as a salesperson, it's not to close you, it's to make you think differently. Like, yeah, shit, I should have picked somebody 6 months ago. Like, nothing's gonna change if nothing changes, type of deal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just using my words to make you think a different thought. That's what a salesperson does.
Yeah. So you are labeled the best sales closer and trainer in the world. What gives you the edge over other salespeople? Like if it's, sales number guy number 1, sales number 2, and then there's Daniel G in the room.
I just do more than everybody in the world.
So your only edge is you outwork.
Yeah, well, first of all, if you're the best at what you do and you back it up with work, like, yes, you could be the best at what you do, but if you're a lazy fuck, then it's only so good. I used to sit down in my office. Like, listen, Fareed, I was great at training at the age of 14. I told you I joined a sales company at 14. At 15, I had a sales team. Like, this is not bullshit. Like, some people say I sold candy. At 15, I had a sales team in a warehouse. I was teaching them how to deal with an objection when the wife said my husband needs to think about something like this door to door. I was great at training sales since I was 15, right? However, that just saying you're great doesn't do nothing, because then you're like, oh, I should be like that guy on stage. And I used to be like that person. I used to watch sales trainers and say, I'm so much better than that guy. And then I said, wow, I'm sitting in a position where I'm saying I'm better, but if you were better, you would have that spot. Yeah. So obviously they earned that position that you haven't earned yet inside of your business. So instead of saying I'm better than that person, I deserve to be like that person, I started asking myself the question, like, how do I become like that person? Like, what are all those guys doing? I'm gonna do the exact same thing and more, until I eventually earn the spot, right? So I just say, like, when people ask that question, I just say monitor activity in the next year. You will never, when somebody says something, they'll be talking and I'll be on a plane going to train in India. I'll be in a plane going to train in Australia. I'll be in a train going to train in, or a plane going to train in Chile, right? And America ain't the whole world. Everybody's like, oh, the market is massive. People think too small, just America. The market's huge, especially with AI today. Yeah. Dude, people think so small, like just about their programs, their courses, the way they speak. I'm like, dude, AI can bring you everywhere. There's 1 billion people in India, 1 billion people. And people ask me, dude, why you want to travel there? They ain't gonna buy your stuff. I'm like, dude, maybe not for $1,000, but there's 1 billion people. And if you understand anything about social media, you want people to push you. You want people to know who you are. People can't buy from you if they don't know you.
Right.
So I'm always going wide. I'm always going heavy on branding. I'm always going wide. So yeah, I just think it comes from work ethic, discipline, and skills. Going back to that formula, man.
Yeah.
Work ethic, discipline, and skills.
And
right?
energy, definitely. Energy
of course.
seems
yeah
coming out.
But that's the most important thing. I know we're gonna wrap it up right now.
So we all know about obviously all of your successes. You run multiple companies, multiple agencies, multiple speaking events. You know, in at a very short time. But what are your biggest failures that you don't necessarily talk about? Or
my biggest failures? Shit, man. I mean, that's hard for me because I never got swept. You know, like I've never. Doesn't matter how big of a challenge that we went through inside of business. Like I went through some like hits with Steve early on. I met Steve, one of my videographers, like 6 years ago back in California. Went through like a big hit in 2018. Falsely accused for some like bullshit. And
you were?
Yeah, it was like 2018 or early 2018, right? And it was online, and that's when the online game started blowing up. And that shifted my business. Like I became who I am today probably from that year, because when that something like happened, we were selling on behalf of somebody else. That somebody else, whatever happened with their program, the students were happy. We're like making refunds.
He wasn't fulfilling.
Yeah, it was. They had a lot of coaches. There was a whole thing that happened inside of the program, right? And it came back because we were the salespeople for the program, right? And everybody, which is fine. Everybody ties you in the mix, you know, online. But you know, the first thing you do is you call your team and your legal. Are we good? Yeah, you're good. You're fine, right?
Yeah.
But then you start seeing what I started to see in 2018. All the friends that we all know in the space, big guys in the space back then. You know, I start to see how quickly media and attention can turn people. So and I was just growing on Instagram. I had like 50 to 100,000 followers, and I just tapped into the game. And all these cool guys in the space, overnight, like I'm sure Steve seen it like overnight. Yeah, and publicly too, right? And Drake has a line. He says the highest form of hate is when you take it to the media. You know what I mean? Like the highest form of jealousy is when you take it to the media.
Yeah.
And when that happened, dude, I was young coming into space. You know, this was like 6.5 years ago.
How old were you?
Probably 24 at the time. You know, just figuring out the sales training space, right?
Age. Okay.
Yeah, and didn't really care about hate. But when you're sitting down with somebody and you're sitting down with their family one weekend, you know, at one event, and we're all doing events together, and then the next weekend they start shit talking about you, and they go online to make their shit look better. Because the way to make your shit look better is me to shit talk you.
Yeah,
let's just be honest.
Yeah,
make you know, like if you're doing something bad, maybe let's shit talk about this guy, right? That's also hate within itself. It's an insecurity. But anyways, on a bigger scale, so we got smoked, man. Like everything was getting smoked. 1 week it was going bad. I mean, there was millions of views. I couldn't go on an Instagram live without the clown faces coming on, right? I'm like, oh man, what the fuck? And that's when I said to myself, I said, if it was true, you would quit. If it's real, then you just keep fucking going. What that means is if you're real, you keep fucking going, right? If it's false or if it's true, you quit. Like meaning, if what they say to you online is true, you're gonna feel some way and you're gonna quit your business.
Right.
Right? So that's what I thought inside of my head. I'm like,
you just didn't take it personal.
First, I didn't think of that yet. I didn't think of like, man, because my grandfather asked me a question. He's like, well, did it happen? I'm like, no. Like, I just hired a sales guy. This happened. He's like, well, if you have nothing bad intentionally, then just keep going. Because if it does matter then. But he's like, you know that. I said, yeah, that's true. Because hate only matters when it becomes true. It doesn't matter when it's not true. So, dude, that was a shifting point inside of my business. And all I said to myself is, I'm going to work so hard that I don't need any of these guys. I don't do collabs with people. I do my own events. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I pick and choose who I want. I said, I'm going to work so hard that I never need these guys co-sign or collabs or anything like this. These are older guys in the space and everything like that, right? And I said, I never want to be like those individuals inside of my business. And those were adults. And I said, that's a sign of who I don't want to be like, because I just seen everybody behind the scenes for the first time in reality inside of the industry. Like how it really is. It's like an organization, like a mafia organization behind the scenes. And I said, fuck that. I said, we're going to do this so well. I'm going to pour into this audience more than anybody else, right? And that was my driving force, because I believe inside of business, you need to have a chip on your shoulder on one side, You need to have love on the other side. I think it's bullshit if somebody says, oh, you just got to operate out of love. You need to have a chip on your shoulder. That's how every athlete does well inside of business, right? You can't just operate out of service and love. You also got to operate of being like, hey, there's motherfuckers that are never going to pass me, right? So I think that was in 2018. How I was moving my business like that for at least a year and a half aggressively.
A little bit of cockiness is
I wouldn't say cockiness. I was just with my audience. I just didn't sleep. I said, no, if I know I'm good at what I do, I'm going to pour into this audience. And if 5 people now show up to my event, because what sucked was you do all these stages and like 1,000 people were showing up. Man, we did so many. Man, in like, I remember there was 1 month, me, Josh, and Steve, we traveled like in 60 days. We did everything. We were on a jet every other day. Like literally a jet every other day going to a different city, right? Life was fucking great. And then you're like, you come back down and you're saying, oh shit. Because we were doing all these collabs with individuals. So everybody was working together as a collective consciousness to build their brands and everything, right? And then I came back down. I'm like, oh, I got to work this thing myself now. So it really was going from like a big...
Made you more independent.
Yeah. And then I did my own events. I went independent. I did my own events for 5 people, 50 people, 500 people. It just kept growing and growing and growing and growing, right? So, yeah, man, it made me work harder, dude.
How important is speed for you? Like do you let things process, marinate? Do you think at all?
Yeah, of course. I think, I think geniuses inside of business can make this shit look easy, right? So, like, they can make it seem like, oh, he just runs and he's just good at what he does. But I think 90% of our business is in our thoughts, right? Like, before we go to bed at nighttime, it's always strategy. It's 24/7. My mind's always going 24/7. Everything's processed. But yeah, I do feel extraordinarily fast. I also don't look at things as such a big negative impact if you fail on something, because you're not dead usually half the time inside of business. Like I always tell my friends, I'm like, are you gonna die? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, well, just fucking do it. Like why not just do it? You're not gonna die.
It's the worst. That's the worst that could happen.
Yeah, it's the worst, and I really take that to heart. Where I'm like, I'm not gonna die from this decision, so let's just rock with it. The other thing is, like, what I've realized being around a lot of wealthy people now, they don't talk about like money and big things as it's this thing that they can't achieve. They almost talk about it like, yeah, we're just gonna go make $1 million tomorrow morning. It's like they eat a goal, so they're on a whole different frequency than the goal. Usually when the goal is at a higher frequency than you can't hit the goal, right? So I always say, like, goals have a certain vibration. There's a yacht, it has a certain vibration because there's also a fucking kayak. So one's vibrating at a higher frequency than the other one, right? Literally, physically, more energy. Literally and physically more energy. Not even on a spiritual level. Meaning the yacht has a higher vibration than the kayak, right? So what does that mean? That means in order for you to get the yacht, what does your frequency have to be in order to get the yacht? Like, you have to vibrate like so much higher that the yacht is like, oh, I'm gonna jump on the yacht, I'm gonna buy a yacht. Like, whatever the case is. The fear within itself of a goal is usually what cripples people from a goal. A lot of coaches say you gotta hit a goal and fear the goal that you're gonna hit. I said, well, you're never gonna hit that goal, because if you fear a goal, the goal can smell you. Like, you gotta put yourself over a goal. Everything in sales is spiritual first and strategy second. Always, 150%. Like, I have mastered the energy game. That's where I was getting on. I think at the end of the first segment, I was getting on the energy game inside of sales. I have mastered it. Like, I've completely mastered the energy component inside of sales and goal achievement. 150% before any single strategy. Because it's physically impossible to hit something physical if you don't understand it spiritually. Like, you don't understand.
So it's beyond just talking at a high frequency. The energy is it's like more manifestation. It's more believing.
It's not, dude, it's not even manifestation. It's not just the manifestation part of it. It's literally understanding that everything has a vibration.
Yeah.
Okay? So I made this video once for it. I was like, okay, imagine the average income. Did you ever hear me say this? The average income in America is like $4,000, $3,000 a month, right? If you don't believe me that everything's energy, I said, just go watch the way people talk, the average way people talk, because the way people talk is a reflection of their mind, right? So what that means is, like, if you got everybody around you making like $3,000 a month, just go watch how people talk. They're always like, man, the economy's slow. Fuck, I don't know I'm going to pay my bills. Shit, man. They always have negative language. That negative talk is just a reflection of what's happening inside of their thoughts. If you just go to Energy 101, at the bottom of having low energy is grudge, hate, jealousy, doubt, worry, and fear, anxiety. That's at the bottom. You raise your energy at the top is certainty, optimism, love, enlightenment, service. That's when you're fucking high and booming. Like, that's like us right now. We're like, dude, we want to put out more to help more people, right? So you think, man, the average American makes $3,000 a month.
That's crazy.
The average American also talks the exact same way. So, and that means if they talk the exact same way, they think the exact same way, and that's why they make the exact same income. So if people think sales is physical, it's not. All commissions is, and sales is, it's like, it's all, you could see the way people talk, it exposes their thoughts. So if everybody's in doubt, worry, fear, and anxiety, that is the average income, is $3,000. That average person expresses their thoughts, doubt, worry, fear, anxiety in their language. Now you want to hit a goal that's $100,000 a month. Watch the vibration. I just said the average income is $3,000 a month. It is physically impossible to hit a goal that's $100,000 in commissions a month. If the thought within itself of the goal, $100,000 scares you, you're back down to fear.
You have to believe that you're at 100K already.
No, you got to be higher frequency than 100K to even get the 100K.
Okay.
You
I watched your frequency, the vibration video on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was just like you almost got to feel like you can eat it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just nothing. Like, the vibration's higher, that it's just like, oh, this is easy to have, right? But I say it's not about like raising the strategy. It's almost about just like learning how to raise yourself up so everything else just seems easy. You know?
Yeah,
like, so you're
overkill.
in float. You're in float to hit
Yeah.
everything, right? You're in float to hit everything. I think that's all of it first. And by the way, bro, I'm the strategy guy. Like, if you really go back to my Instagram, that's why nobody can come at me, because I'm like, okay, but I'm not fucking levitating in fucking Bali right now.
Yeah.
That's not me. I don't believe you could just lay down. That's not me. I'm not levitating in Bali. So I'm saying this from a person that is very strategical, you know? I just believe my strategy is implemented much better.
Yeah.
You know, just understanding the frequency.
Some people like myself, right? Some days as an entrepreneur, my schedule is freaking packed. I wake up at 6 a.m. I don't go to sleep until 11, and my girlfriend, complains about that. But other days I wake up and I'm like, fuck, like my schedule's empty. I don't really know what to do. Do you ever feel uncomfortable when you don't have things to do?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Is that just...
I mean, listen, dude, we're sitting in Miami. I came back home last week. I'm chilling in my office. I'm doing my regular gig. I'm on calls. I'm doing trainings.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting down, and you're so used to doing events. I'm so used to doing events that I sat down and I said...
Everything's quiet.
Yeah, everything's so quiet. So I was just like, fuck, bro, let's just do an event in 2 weeks. And Steve's looking at me, he's like, no, man, don't do this. And I'm like, no, let's just do it. So I was about to go on my stories. I'm like, who can help me? So I called up a friend. I'm like, hey, Stormy, I'm like, you want to do an event in like 2 weeks? She's like, yeah, let's fucking do it, right? I'm like, it's so quiet here. I'm like, let's just do it. So I'm like, let's just host a free convention. So yeah, I feel like she said something cool on my live stream last week. She's like, you got to force momentum. You got to force momentum, she said. She says, you don't just slowly get into momentum. It's like, you got to force your way inside of momentum.
Because then once you have the traction.
Correct.
And the motion.
So what I realized is I'm like, I do that. I force momentum. I push my way inside of it, right? I don't, like, it just doesn't come to you. So yeah, I think every entrepreneur always wants to move. Physiology is also important. Like, you don't get best ideas from just laying down. You get good ideas by moving and talking to people. That's your physiology. Tony Robbins said this at my first seminar. He said, you want to have better thoughts, be moving. My first seminar, I was 15 when I went to Tony Robbins. Sitting down, he said, change your complete business by changing your state. You change your state by changing your physiology. Physiology, body movement, everything. He said, your best thoughts come when you're walking, talking, running, shower, laughing, sing. Right now, I guarantee you, like, we can think of thoughts that we didn't think of because we're on a podcast right now, we're sharing, we're talking. Physiology is moving. But then when you're thinking in bed, all that happens is this, and imagine if any entrepreneurs watching me, and they grew up maybe the way you and I grew up with doubt, worry, fear, and anxiety from families, right? Imagine you start to think as an entrepreneur. When you start to think, what happens? You go back into your subconscious mind, which is safety and security, right?
Overthink shit. Yeah.
You think, you doubt, you quit.
Yeah.
You don't think, you get encouraged. You get encouraged, you move. That's not how your thought works. The moment you think, and this is messed up, you doubt. The more you doubt, the less you do, higher chance of quitting.
You'd rather
it's a flywheel.
You'd rather go with your gut off a rip, just whatever your gut tells you, than letting yourself think and outthink and change.
Yeah, because you're probably not going to support your own idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're probably not going to support. So now I just move, bro. Like, if somebody tells me something, I'm like, all right, let's do it tonight. Like, go. Let's do it now. Yeah. But Daniel, like, guys come in the office, man, I have a call that I got to do, on Sunday with this guy, follow-up call. Call him right now. But what do you mean, man? This call's scheduled for Sunday. I said, dude, call him right now. Just call the guy right now. When did you call him last? He said last week. I said, give him a call right now. Maybe he picks up. Maybe something's happened. Maybe he's gonna think too long. And by the way, time kills deals. Time kills everything. Time doesn't heal nothing. You know when a girl breaks up and her other girl's like, girl, just take time, and she goes listen to love songs and stuff like that, it just breaks your heart a little bit more. What heals a broken heart? You doing things. You working, going out, talking to somebody new, working on yourself, all physiology, by the way, not laying in bed. Laying in bed makes you listen to Neo and Usher. Like, that doesn't heal a broken heart. So this is in every space of life. Like, you don't heal through just laying down. You heal by doing things and working.
Do you have a significant other? Who's your partner?
No, I've been working with Steve for the last 2 years.
Okay,
Steve and I have traveled the world. We've been to every beautiful place in the world. By the way, I wasn't saying on this podcast I date Steve. I'm just saying Steve has just, because somebody's gonna take
the guy's shaking his head.
Steve,
He's like,
yeah, that's fucking great. You clip that for getting fucking blocked. If that clip happens.
Oh god,
no,
the Clippers enter the chat.
No, but I mean, it's definitely been interesting because just the amount that we travel and we work, right?
Yeah. Seriously though, like, what qualities do you look for? I know you don't have one right now, but like, you know, in the future, what qualities do you look for in a woman, like, to build with? Do you even think that you need, you know, significant others, a partner, whoever to build with? Do you think that would help you out? Like, run me through that.
I mean, what I tell Steve right now, and this is just real, is that I'm so happy with where we are inside of our business. Like, I'm actually genuinely happy. Like, I love life right now. Like, we're working hard, things are moving, that I'm at peace with my life, like actual peace.
That's
with
rare.
My life. I'm at peace, you know, and I think as an entrepreneur, sometimes when you're building, you don't know if shit's gonna work out.
Yeah.
You're in obscurity. Like, think of there's phases, right? So in the first couple of years of entrepreneurship, you're like, is this shit gonna work out? Then the next phase is like almost momentum. And then third phase is your self-confidence phase. You're like, I know who I am now. You formed an identity, right? Because in the beginning, you don't have an identity. You're still doubting everything, right? So now you're in the phase of like, things are good. You're at peace with where you're at. You know who you are. You know, you actually know not the physical side of you, but you actually have an identity built within you, right? And you own it. So I'm like, in order for somebody to come into my life, and this is just everybody, whether it's a relationship, somebody else, like, that would have to be special because I'm already happy. And isn't that the point of life?
What's the definition of happiness?
Like, isn't that the point of just being like peaceful,
Yeah.
like truly, like actually enjoying your relationships, having a fun time with friends, going back home, spending good time with family, being present? All those things are important to me. Making good money, right? Making a shit ton of money, but the way you want to make your money too as well. Like, the way you're making your money is the way you want to make it, through the avenues and the projects that you want to make it through. So that's happiness, right? To me. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, for somebody to come and walk in, it's never a kickback. It's always going to be like more.
What is your definition of happiness though? Like, overall, like, would you, like, some people are like, yeah, having my significant other, being at peace, like having a bunch of money. Do you think money buys happiness?
Do I think money buys happiness? Money has bought things that have extraordinarily made everybody around me happy because I'm good at spending it. I'm great at spending money, bro, because I spend my money on experiences with people. I was just telling a friend, like, you know, I can have a million things inside of my life, but I choose to fly out my friends from a different country to come visit me every single weekend, work together, have fun together, etc. So, like, that requires capital. You know what I mean? Does it make me happy to make somebody else in my family happy too as well? Yeah, 150%, right? So, and by the way, if somebody says otherwise, like, jump off the fucking yacht.
Yeah.
Like, it's just really bad because then you're trying to, I'll tell you where it doesn't buy happiness.
Yeah.
I'll give you where it doesn't buy happiness. Buying another car is just buying another car. That's where you become desensitized to money. That will never bring you happiness. Like, you will be happy for 2 days, a week, a month, buying a bigger house. That will not bring you happiness, 150%. So really, that shit, it's like those people that buy so many things, an excessive amount of things, I almost feel like it's almost a little bit of like insecurity. From my standpoint, like, I feel like when I was young and I spent a lot of money, I bought things because I was insecure about things. So I had to cover up confidence with like a bigger watch, a bigger car, a nicer thing, right? That was my intention behind buying something. Now we can just buy something nice because I'm just gonna shop for something nice. It's not like because that's what's gonna make Daniel. So like I don't believe, like, yeah, if you buy more things, that's where money will not buy happiness, because you're just trying to buy things to cover up you.
Yeah. For me, I feel like, money, if money can buy time, money can buy my freedom, money can buy wherever my location, my environment, I feel like for me
Happiness.
that's happiness.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and that's something people, time is something you can never get back inside of life.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of an entrepreneur, is to learn how to have time. It happens through people too as well, and systems, not just money. Is building people up too as well. Because yes, you guys, like, in a game where you can build investments and stuff like that too as well, of course, but you have to have good systems and good people to around you to have freedom and leverage, right? So yeah.
You talk about energy. What qualities do you look for in people that you surround yourself with in terms of energy? It could be women, significant other,
just the way
partners.
They talk, man. I check people so much. I say stop, 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 stop. And if they can't, I say stop, stop, stop. And they say, why are you saying stop? I said, don't say that. And I check people on their language, because whatever your language is, a thought of what's going inside of your head. It's just a reflection. So like, yeah, if they can't stop it, then I just stop talking. Meaning, like, everything that somebody's saying to me is just a reflection of the thought. So I don't say that.
Then it turns into their actions and
it's just something's messed up there. I say, we don't say that. We don't talk like that.
Yeah.
We don't talk about comparing yourself to somebody lower. We don't talk about this is hard or that's hard. We're humans. We can do anything we want. You know what I mean? So I think that's big for me, man. For somebody to be around me and just have the right language around me, because I always want to do more, win bigger,
attitude,
help more people. The attitude's always good. It's super important, right?
Yeah.
I think like a lot of people don't understand that there's people around them, their environment. They got to check the environment sometimes, because you might be good, but then you go downstairs and somebody messes you up, right? There's no negative, like there's probably, I guess this goes inside of my head, there's no negativity.
Do you give people second chances?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I think people can grow and get better. Yeah, 150%. Yeah.
When do you? What qualities?
When ethics are broken is when it's cut.
When do you cut someone off?
Like when ethics are broken.
Okay.
Right. To answer it. So when ethics are broken is when it gets cut. When somebody's working hard, I believe everybody has building blocks and everybody fucks up. You know what I mean? Or then we wouldn't be where we're at, because somebody or something gave us a second chance. Whether it was an application or a team member or somebody above us, we got a second chance inside of business, right? Some people come in with more building blocks than somebody else. And like, that's a learning curve, A building block basically means, especially inside of sales, like if somebody comes in and they've already done 6 sales jobs, they might exceed 10 times quicker than somebody that's never done a sales job before. So you can't base everything around people that had amazing building blocks or yourself. Because when you get so good, you're trying to compare everybody to you.
I'm going to give you 3 words. I want you to let me know which one's the most important for you in ranking.
Okay.
Loyalty, trust, work ethic.
Okay, well, loyalty and trust coincide with each other, but so loyalty is probably, I would say it's like loyalty, trust, and work ethic. Like loyalty is built through the depth of a relationship. So I'll give you something good before we end this off. You have people around you and they're working, whether it's a sales team, whoever it is, right? And imagine somebody's working beside you, right? This could be in relationships, this can be with money, this could be a sales team. And you make that person $20,000 a month, right? And then one day he quits or she quits your team, right? We probably all had that done to us, right? Early stages of my business, we grew big sales teams. And then you're like, man, but look how much I did for that person. They should have been so loyal to me. And I said, should they have? They're like, well, yeah, man, I made this person so much money. I said, just because you've edified and celebrated somebody when you made the money, it doesn't mean they should be loyal to you. I said, loyalty comes from like the depth of your personal relationship with that individual. So if you don't know that individual, what they're going through, whatever the case is, why should they be loyal to you? I said, just because you made somebody money doesn't mean somebody should be loyal to you. I said, so most leaders never take the time to understand what other people think or what other people like or what they're going through inside of life. So there's no loyalty. So they feel like they can break that loyalty. So loyalty does not come with money. Loyalty comes with relationships and trust and time with an individual. The depth of your relationships is the depth of the loyalty. I say that again. The depth of the relationships is the depth of the loyalty. So like if you're not deep in a relationship with somebody, meaning like you don't know that person fully, they don't know you fully, you don't know their heart fully, they don't know your heart fully, that's when people cheat on each other, that's when people leave. There's no loyalty in the relationship. Just because the connection's there, you made money together, the commission and connection's there, doesn't mean there's loyalty inside of the relationship.
What is the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
The best piece of advice that I've ever received.
Could be from anyone.
Yeah, don't listen to people that haven't walked in the shoes that you want to walk into, because it's an expensive commodity inside of life. Like for me, it was very hard to. I think that goes for anybody trying to push something new, trying to push the lid, right? Like if I'm trying to build an agency and somebody's like, well, you shouldn't do that. Well, how many times have you built an agency?
Yeah.
Probably not. Okay, well, your advice is probably doesn't work here, right? So that's very easy because then you don't get emotional from people around you.
I'm like the exact same way, even when it comes to like the closest people around me, like even my family, my mother, my father. I love them, to death. Don't get me wrong, but it's just when it comes to career advice, like, do you ever take career advice from even like your family or close people, or is that where you draw the line? And
yeah, like I like ideas because I think like you can't see everything. It's not like I don't like if I okay, here's a better way to frame this question. It's like, who do you go to when you have problems inside a business? You never tell your problem to somebody that can't solve your problem. And I think every single mature business owner understands that. Like, you're not going to go to somebody that has never walked your shoes, because then you're looking for a complaint and pittiness. You're not looking for solving, right? So I don't share any of my problems.
You're not looking for an emotional solution.
Correct. Like, if I have a big sales problem, fuck, I'm not going to go to Steve. Like, if he's standing right here, I'm just using him as an example. There's no point, right? So I think a great leader will only share their problems with somebody that can solve their problems, right? Because you're not looking for a complaint. You're looking for somebody to solve the problem. And as business owners, that's more of the advice. It's like, you're going to go through problems because you run so fast because you're in offense. So you're going to get feedback, right? So, yeah, I mean, I tell my problems to people that can solve them. If not, I keep it hush and I try to research it or figure it out myself.
You're kidnapped. All your assets, your money, everything stripped from you. You get put into a new, different state. All your contacts, everything is gone. All you're left with is your phone, Wi-Fi, and $1,000 cash. How would you make it all back?
Fuck the $1,000 cash, bro. I don't need the $1,000 cash. I don't even need it. I don't know. Like, realistically, because what's 1,000? 1,000's nothing. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, there's gonna be some guy that's like, dude, you could take this, go run an ad, do this, but fuck that. It's gonna fall through your hands, man. I'm gonna spend it on my lunch that day. I don't even want to think about it, right? and I'm poor. And if you just said I'm poor, you give me the 1,000, I'm gonna go eat food with it. That's sure, but I don't even need it to eat the food. I wouldn't even feel comfortable. Here's what I would do. You want to know the strategy? I would go to the most affluent, richest neighborhood where I'm at, wherever you drop me off. I don't care if you drop me off in DC, in Buffalo, in New York. I'm going to the neighborhood. I don't have nothing because I didn't accept the 1,000. I don't have a cell phone. I don't have nothing at this point. I'm dead with just clothes. I go knock on the door. I say, "Hi, man, how you doing?" "Good." I would just like to let you know that there's going to be a lot of noise around your neighborhood. And they're going to say, "What do you mean there's going to be a lot of noise?" I'm saying, like, the boat's making noise. We got machines that are going to be making noise in the next 6 hours. I just want to give you a courtesy knock. "Well, what are you guys doing?" "Oh, we're doing all the windows. We're washing all the windows, and the machines are a little bit loud. So if you're working, ma'am, and it's 9 a.m., I just wanted to give you a quick courtesy knock." "Oh, but can you tell me a little bit more about, like, the service?" Okay, I have 3 minutes now. So we got a window washing service. I'm doing the whole block. Kind of like I'm giving everybody a group discount. So if everybody gets together, you're probably my last door that I had to knock. Instead of charging you $200, I'll charge you $100 if we say yes right now. "Okay, sure. Let me go get everybody on board just to make sure that they confirm so I can give you guys a group discount." I get everybody on board. I collect the money. I go to Home Depot. You guys have Home Depot in America?
Yeah.
I go to Home Depot. I buy the bucket. I buy the pressure washer, right? I get my ass back there. I start washing it one day. I make my $1,000 in one day. I sell 10 homes at $100 a pop. I wash them till 5 a.m. at nighttime. The next morning I wake up. I sell everybody again. But then I find somebody on the street that is also in my bad position that could be homeless. And I say, "Bro, you want a job?" He says yes. I bring him to my window washing agency now. He starts washing windows and I start selling. And then I do it again the next day, until a week down the road. There's too many windows to watch. We don't have enough workers. And I got to start managing all the bullshit in my business. So I hire a salesperson to start selling. And he has 5 window washers. And boom, you got $1 million business in 90 days. Now, some motherfucker, I'm telling you, is going to be like, "Well, it's easy for you to say." Dude, millennials are lazier than ever. I swear to God, you just said if you leave me broke, I'd go wash windows. I'm not even going to go online first. I don't have the idea to build credit. I'm going to fucking cut grass and wash windows.
So that's what you do, a window washing business.
I just made window washing as an example right now.
That's a 6-figure business right there, and Daniel just gave you an example.
Like, if you're 18 years old, it's so much easier to make money because you don't have all this fear and all this pressure. You're already broke.
Yeah.
You might as well just go do it. I tell 16-year-old kids, I'm like, dude, you could crush everybody else. Because, like, they're scared to do things now. They're dirty. And millennials are lazy. Nobody wants to cut the grass. Nobody wants to paint the walls. Back then, our parents used to do it. Now it's so much easier to do these services, right?
Yeah.
Sales, man. You can't be broke if you can sell.
What seems like snake oil, but is actually very effective?
What seems like snake oil?
But is actually very
Elaborate
effective.
that.
Like what seems like a scam, what seems unreasonable, but is actually very effective.
In what sense? Like
Anything. Could be life, career, it could be anything.
Sales, 100%. Like my number one comment on Instagram is, I hate fucking salespeople. Fuck this guy.
Why?
Like this is why I hate sales. Because if you were to tell me like I don't have the money and I start dealing with it, all the haters that are not in sales are gonna be like, this is why I hate sales. and then my reply back is this for you. And I say, okay, well then go sleep on the street. And then they say, well, that's so rude. I said, well, a salesperson had to sell you the home, didn't they? You don't like sales, then go walk your ass to work. A salesperson had to sell you the car.
That's the alternative. Yeah.
Right? So it's no, I'm just saying, like, it makes the world go round.
Yeah.
So if it's something that, sure, somebody doesn't have to like it. You said what seems to be like a scam, but it's not.
Yeah.
Sure, sales. That could be
Because
one.
it's you. A good salesperson is also a person who helps you fulfill something that you're missing from your life.
Correct.
Doesn't
Correct.
have to be something that's being shoved down your throat.
Correct.
Many people have that misunderstanding.
You know why, bro? Here, I'll tell you why. Because the bullshit movies back then where you watch The Wolf of Wall Street, right? Sure, is it a funny movie to watch?
Yeah.
Is there funny scenes in that movie? Yeah. But were they completely scamming people? Yes. It's not somebody to look forward to. So when people ask me, I'm like, are you referring to that shit? Because that shit is not skills. That shit's not sales. That shit is people scamming people. I don't look up to people like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to look up to people like that. Those people are doing things unethical that made other people lose their lives in bad positions. Like completely broken families, scamming people tens of thousands, millions of dollars, whatever the case was. So if that's how you perceive sales, that is not sales. That's called a scam. That's called people getting convicted of scamming people. Coming out of jail and you're, a convicted felon out of jail, right?
Yeah.
That's not something to look forward to. And society makes that shit look cool.
Yeah.
There's society makes all that stuff look good. The Wolf of Wall Street, the Jordan Belfort guy. Dude, the guy only has a name because Leonardo DiCaprio fucking gave him a name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a sales trainer.
Plenty of those guys have been, incarcerated and...
Yes, but when you look at the reality of it, like, he admits it too. This was the reality of what we did.
What do you think about his straight line approach?
What is that?
I forgot what it was, but that was like a sales technique, or just like his techniques in general, what he teaches. Jordan Belfort, what do you think about it?
He doesn't have techniques. There's no techniques. That's what I'm trying to tell people. How do you get a technique from a scammer?
Yeah.
Like, this is called just thinking for yourself. There's no techniques. They scammed people of millions of dollars. It's not a technique.
So even
to lie to you?
Even because the fulfillment was a scam, you still think his techniques are also trash, essentially.
Well, you just lie to somebody. The technique has to be.
Right.
If you know you're selling dog shit,
right,
you get in the morning and you tell your sales team, let's just lie to everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So
yeah.
I don't think it's like when you really think of it, like, cool, again, just a level deeper, we just got to think for a second. We're adults, right?
Right.
It's like, that's not a technique. So you're just lying to somebody. Like, anybody can go into an office. You can go to your sales guys and say, hey, bro, we're going to sell this land right here. It doesn't exist, right? And we're just going to make it the most attractive shit in the world, but the land doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Just be good actors, okay? Just be good actors. Have good energy. Sell the piece of land that doesn't exist. We'll call them in a few months down the road, but that piece of land doesn't exist.
You brought up this, if I knew any other sales guys in the space.
Yeah.
I actually hired an intern who works for me who used to do sales under Andy Elliott and his team. What do you think about that guy?
About Andy?
Have you ever met him?
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of his team has connected with me. I know a few people from their team. I think they're awesome people that work with his team. But I haven't seen a lot of the sales content from them. But what he's doing is right, is he's teaching people that are the important things that makes your sales game easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of course, dude, the messaging is marketing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of course. Yeah. But the things that individual is teaching to other people, because he's on Instagram motivating people, doing all the workouts and everything like this. A lot of people, he probably gets ripped on too as well, just like myself, having high energy, right?
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of the sales content from other individuals.
It's more like get your shit together, motivational
always
content.
Also up your sales game.
Exactly. At the end of the day,
because implementation is hard when this and this is not there. Like when your body's not there and this is not there, the implementation is hard. So that's what that individual is probably getting across to other people.
Yeah.
Right?
What do you think about the educational system? Do you think, going back to what we were saying before, do you think it's how we were programmed? Do you think it's a scam? Do you think it's beneficial?
I don't think like it's a scam. I don't think education's a scam. I think that's a big word.
Yeah.
I think saying it's a scam is a big word.
But you think we've been lied to?
Yeah, it's like I don't think the people even teaching it even understand. So it's not like these people like my teacher's a scam or anything like that. They haven't went deep enough to figure out where people should be. And that just takes a deeper level of understanding. Like Daniel G should have been in sales since he was 14. I should have never went to an international economics class. When I made my first $800 door knocking, they should have said to me, hey bro, you should get a career in real estate, insurance, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like the assessment of the individuals inside of school is not taken seriously enough. That's it.
Do you feel like the school...
Because education's a great equalizer, I think, for anybody, right?
Yeah.
Education's an amazing equalizer, right? There's so many great things about education, right? Because I'm not one to, like, I'm not an entrepreneur that says it's a complete fucking scam. No. I think, then have fun not learning how to, get on this boat, because there had to be an engineer that had to design this boat.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
So I think it just assesses people a little bit wrong. And as entrepreneurs, their learning curve is like assess yourself better and assess your employees better to know how to treat them and how to train them and what avenues they should be working in. Because like there wasn't real assessments for me when I was inside of school. Like they didn't really care. Maybe there was a test, but nobody said like, hey man, like how do you like making money? Oh, man, you have a job? You made this much. How do you like your job? You know what I mean? Like there was no interviews like that. Because there should have been a career for me inside of sales. And by the way, sales is big, man. There's account management sales, tech sales, software sales, real estate sales, where my biggest sales job was a B2B sales job for a medical company, which did require education, which I lied about on my resume to get the job. But it required education. Like there's so many good sales jobs where, it requires for you to understand account management. Now universities and colleges are actually starting to teach sales, account management, inside sales, because every big company in the world has a sales force behind the scenes. Big company, billion-dollar company, they have a sales force. They have inside sales reps, account managers, customer service reps, right?
Yeah. Last message to the viewers, anyone who's watching this is your last interview ever. Last time you ever speak. What's the last thing you want everyone to hear from you?
The last thing
last message you want to walk away with
before I walk, like you say, I'm about to go in this ocean and I'm gone forever.
Before you move into the Bahamas, nobody ever sees you again. Last message online.
Treat people good. Like just be a good human being, because at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. Like I remind myself of that every single day. Like just treat people good. Like really, really. Truly and honestly, like you walk outside, say hi to people, compliment people, just treat people good. If I can, like behind all the business stuff, that's always me. Like I'm always trying to help people out, say hi to somebody, smile at somebody. You don't know how that shifts somebody, right? And it's something so simple that you don't need money to do something like that. You don't need to be some crazy individual to treat somebody nice. Say yes to people. Doesn't matter how big you get or how low you are. Say yes to people. Brings you back up too as well. You can't help somebody out and not feel good about yourself too either. It's physically impossible.
Yeah.
Right? And you do it also on the balance of like with no intent back to it. You just treat humans good.
Daniel,
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Podcast.
Yep. Appreciate you and your time.
Hey, by the way, guys, I'll give you a shout out.
Sure, of course.
For anybody watching this, I want you to just also, if you guys are following Fareed, true gentleman, because this man has, we've been in contact for the last year. We met at an event. What event did we meet at?
Literally in my city, I think. One of our events in DC.
In DC.
Yeah.
So we did it. I was at an event. Fareed was there, and this gentleman really understands relationships, and you're putting in the effort too as well, because you flew into Miami to sit beside Mark and I just to have a conversation with us and build a relationship. And that's what people don't see behind the scenes. Like, it costs resources, material, time, energy, and attention to do things like this. and everybody thinks things are so freaking easy. So if you guys are watching, just know if Fareed's your coach, it's the right person to be behind because he's still growing every single day. And I say, when the leader dies, the business dies.
Yeah.
So if I have a coach and that coach like doesn't have the fucking hunger in their eyes, that's where the whole team dies because they're like, if our coach doesn't believe in themselves, fuck, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? That's why I say people buy the eyes before they buy the business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people buy. You ever watch Scarface? And he's sitting down. You know what Scarface is?
Yeah, yeah.
So Al Pacino's sitting down and he's in the car with his friend and he says, "It's the eyes, Chico." He's like, "Why do you like that girl?" He said, "It's the eyes. The eyes never lie." And I say to people, I'm like, eyes never lie inside a business. When you have the hunger inside of your eyes, that's why people follow you. The moment you lose this crazy eyes inside a business, that's where all the business falls apart. Your whole team starts to say like, where did the saliva go? You know, the saliva, salivating. So I believe it's important that the leader keeps pushing in front of their team, in front of their clients, so the clients keep trusting them. That's why it's important for a leader to always sell. It's important for a leader to always move, invest back inside of their business, like to show that you still have that saliva and the eyes are fucking crazy. They buy into the eyes before they buy into what you've done in the past. And that's super important for people to understand. Meaning like nobody gives a fuck about how many millions somebody, like, you know, there's a lot of people online, oh, this is what I did in the past and this is what car and these are the ranks that we got to. Nobody gives a fuck. Do it again tomorrow. Do it again. They don't buy your past trophies. Stop polishing your past trophies because nobody buys them. They buy the eyes of where you're heading inside of the future. So you got to keep these crazy things on. That's for me, at least my best advice probably for people is never stop being crazy and have a vision in front of people because they keep buying into that. Nobody buys into the past because you got to be relevant in today's day and age. The moment you take a day off and the hunger eyes leave, you're getting swept. You got to be so relevant, dude. You can't take a day off. You got to be so relevant. And my best advice for social media, stay relevant. Don't die. So that's what you're doing, bro. I appreciate you having
Seriously,
me,
bro. I
Thank
appreciate
you so much.
the kind words and your time and everything, bro.
Subscribe to this channel. Watch the clips. We have amazing interviews coming
Daniel
out, okay?
G. Let's get it. All right.